Mike Tyson is sitting alone in the Indiana Youth Center prison library reading Marcus Aurelius when an inmate twice convicted for assault walks up and says, "I heard you're supposed to be tough." What happens in the next 8 minutes doesn't involve a single punch, but it demonstrates something more terrifying than any knockout. It shows what happens when a man who built his identity on violence learns to weaponize restraint. Plainfield, Indiana, March 1993. Mike Tyson has been in prison for 14 months, convicted of rape, sentenced to 6 years, expected to serve 3 with good behavior, the most famous athlete in America, the baddest man on the planet, now prisoner number 922335, wearing the same khaki uniform as everyone else, eating the same food, following the same rules, the great equalizer of incarceration. But prison doesn't erase who you were on the outside. Everyone knows Mike Tyson. The guards know him. The inmates know him. The whole world knows him. Former heavyweight champion. The man who knocked out Michael Spinks in 91 seconds. Who made grown men quit before the first bell. Who built a career on making people afraid. That reputation follows him through the gates. Precedes him into every room. Creates a target on his back that never disappears. The prison library is on the 2nd floor of C Block. Small room, maybe 30 feet by 20. Shelves along 3 walls packed with donated books. Mixture of everything. Westerns, romance novels, legal texts, philosophy, history. Most inmates never come here. They're in the yard lifting weights, playing basketball, forming alliances, establishing hierarchies, doing time the way most convicts do time. But Mike comes here every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. Has been for 6 months. Started after a conversation with an older inmate named Samuel, who asked him what he was going to be when he got out. Mike didn't have an answer. He was Mike Tyson. That's what he was. That's what he'd always been, since he was 15 years old, since Cus D'Amato found him, shaped him, made him into a weapon. But Samuel said something that stuck. "You're 26 years old. You got 50 more years to live if you're lucky. You gonna be Mike Tyson, the fighter for all 50? What happens when your body won't let you be that anymore? Who are you then?" Mike started reading. Philosophy mostly. Marcus Aurelius. Meditations. The Stoics. Nietzsche. Machiavelli. Books about power and control and what makes a man. Not the physical kind of power. The other kind. The kind that doesn't fade when your muscles do. He reads slowly. Has to look up words sometimes. His education stopped in 9th grade, reform school, and then boxing. But he reads carefully, takes notes in a small notebook, thinks about what these dead men are trying to teach him. Today he's in his usual corner, metal folding chair that scrapes against linoleum when he moves it. Small wooden table scarred with carved initials and crude drawings. Window behind him showing the prison yard below. Guard station visible through the doorway. 1 guard on duty. Officer Daniels. Mid-40s. Been working here 11 years. Treats inmates with firm respect. Doesn't abuse authority. Doesn't look for problems. But doesn't back down when problems find him. Mike is deep in Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He's read this line 5 times, trying to understand it. Trying to apply it to his situation. He had power over his mind, had control. Then he lost it. Let rage consume discipline. Let impulses override training. Let Mike Tyson the destroyer overwhelm Mike the person. And here he is, prison. Everything he built gone. Reputation in pieces. Money being stolen by people he trusted. Robin filing for divorce. The world watching him fall. But maybe Marcus is right. Maybe he still has power. Not over what happened. Can't change that. Can't go back. But over his mind. Over how he responds. Over who he becomes in here. That's power nobody can take away. That's the only power that really matters. He's writing in his notebook when footsteps approach. Heavy. Deliberate. Not the casual walk of someone browsing books. The purposeful stride of someone approaching with intention. Mike doesn't look up immediately. Just keeps writing, finishing his thought, but his awareness sharpens. Prison teaches you to feel threats before you see them, to read energy, to know when someone's coming for you. The footsteps stop, right behind him, close, invading space, making a statement. Mike finishes his sentence, caps his pen, closes the notebook. Then he turns slowly, controlled. No sudden movements, no aggression, just awareness. The man standing there is big, 6'3", maybe 240 pounds. White guy, early 30s, shaved head, tattoos covering his arms, neck, crawling up to his jawline. Prison tattoos, crude, done with improvised equipment. The kind that tell stories about where you've been, what you've done, who you are. His name is Curtis. Mike knows him by sight. Everyone does. Curtis runs a crew, controls part of the drug trade inside, has a reputation for violence, for not backing down, for making examples of people who disrespect him. Curtis looks down at Mike. Arms crossed, shoulders squared, body language designed to dominate. Behind him, 3 other inmates drift closer, not overtly threatening, just present. Backup. Witnesses. The muscle that makes challenges safe. Mike Tyson, Curtis says. His voice is flat. No emotion, no respect, just statement. The baddest man on the planet. That's what they used to call you, right? Mike looks at him calmly. Doesn't stand up, doesn't react, just looks. That old stare. The one that used to make opponents quit before fights started. But different now. Not empty. Not predatory. Just aware. Present. They called me lots of things, Mike says quietly. His voice is soft. Always has been. That high-pitched tone that doesn't match his body. Curtis laughs. Short, sharp, past tense. They called you. Not anymore though, right? Now you're just another inmate. Another number. Just like the rest of us. Mike doesn't respond. Just waits. Officer Daniels has noticed the interaction, sitting forward in his chair at the guard station. Alert. Ready. But not moving yet. Not intervening. Just watching. Curtis leans down. Puts his hands on the table. Getting in Mike's space. Making him react. I heard you were tough. Heard you knocked people out. Made men cry. Made champions quit. But that was boxing. That was rules and referees and getting paid millions. This is different. This is real. No rules here. No one to save you. Just you and whoever wants to test you. Mike's hands rest on his notebook. Relaxed. Not clenched. Not tense. Just resting. He looks at Curtis's hands on his table, then up at Curtis's face. What do you want? Want? Curtis straightens slightly. I want to see if the reputation is real. I want to see if Mike Tyson the fighter is the same as Mike Tyson the inmate. Because in here, reputation is everything. And your reputation says nobody can touch you. Says you're dangerous. Says people should be afraid. I'm not afraid. I want everyone to see that. The library has gone quiet. The few other inmates in here have stopped pretending to read. They're watching. Word will spread. About this conversation. About what happens next. About whether Mike Tyson is still Mike Tyson. About whether Curtis successfully challenged him. About who won this moment. Mike looks at Curtis for a long moment. Then he does something unexpected. He smiles. Not a threatening smile. Not mocking. Almost sad. Understanding. You want to fight me? Mike says. Statement, not question. I want to see if you're real. And if I say no, Curtis grins. Then everyone knows. Mike Tyson is scared. Mike Tyson talks tough but won't back it up. Mike Tyson is just a coward who only fought when he got paid millions. Mike nods slowly. Like he's considering this. Like Curtis might have a point. Then he says something that changes the entire energy of the room. What's your sentence? Curtis blinks. Wasn't expecting that question. What? Your sentence. How much time are you serving? Curtis's eyes narrow. 12 years. Why? How much have you done? 4. Got 8 left. Mike picks up his notebook. Opens it. Flips through pages. Stops on one. Turns it so Curtis can see. It's a calendar. Dates crossed off. I've done 14 months. I have approximately 22 months left if I maintain good behavior. That's 670 days, 16,080 hours, 964,800 minutes. He looks up at Curtis. If I fight you right now, what happens? Best case, I win. I hurt you badly. Because if I hit you, Curtis, I will hurt you badly. You know that. Everyone knows that. I've spent my entire life learning how to hurt people efficiently. That doesn't go away. So I hurt you. Maybe break your jaw. Maybe worse. Then what? They add time to my sentence. Assault. Could be another year. Maybe 2. That's 730 more days. 17,520 more hours. 1,051,200 more minutes. Curtis is listening now, the aggressive posture softening slightly. Mike continues. Worst case? You're tougher than I think. You get lucky. We fight and guards pull us apart. We both get charges. We both get time added. I still lose. Or maybe you have a weapon I don't see. Maybe one of your friends has one. Maybe I get seriously hurt. Maybe I don't leave this room. Then I lose everything. Not just time. Everything. Mike closes the notebook. But let's say we fight, and I win clean. I knock you out in front of everyone. Prove Mike Tyson is still dangerous. Then what? I'm still in prison. Still have 670 days minimum. But now I'm the guy who can't control himself. The guy who solves problems with violence. The guy who proves everyone right about me. That I'm an animal. That I'm dangerous. That I deserve to be locked up. And the parole board sees that. And they keep me longer. Because why would they let me out if I'm still that person? Curtis straightens up, arms uncrossing, something in his posture shifting. Mike stands. Slowly. No sudden movements. Stands, and he's shorter than Curtis. 5'10" versus 6'3". Smaller. But something about how he holds himself makes the size difference irrelevant. You want to know if I'm real? If the reputation is real? It is. I could hurt you badly. Right now. In front of all these people. In front of that guard who's watching us very carefully. I could do it so fast you wouldn't have time to defend yourself. That's not ego. That's just fact. That's what Cus D'Amato trained me to do for 11 years. He pauses. Let's that sink in. But Cus also taught me something else. He taught me that real power isn't about what you can do. It's about what you choose not to do. It's about control. About discipline. About understanding that every action has consequences and being smart enough to think past the immediate satisfaction of violence. Mike picks up his book, Marcus Aurelius, shows it to Curtis. This guy, Marcus Aurelius, he was a Roman emperor, most powerful man in the world, could have anyone killed with a word. And you know what he wrote? The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. You want to provoke me into being the Mike Tyson everyone expects. The violent one, the uncontrolled one, the animal. But I choose not to be that person anymore. Not because I'm scared, because I'm smarter than I used to be. The library is completely silent. Even Officer Daniels has stood up, hand near his radio, but not calling for backup. Just watching. Waiting to see how this resolves. You can tell everyone Mike Tyson backed down. That he was scared, that his reputation is fake. And maybe that costs me something in here. Maybe people think I'm weak now. I'll deal with that. But I'm not adding a single day to my sentence for your ego. I'm not giving them a reason to keep me here longer. I'm not throwing away my future to prove something to someone I'll never see again after I walk out of here. Curtis stands there, processing. His crew is watching, waiting to see what he does. He came here to make a statement, to challenge the legend, to prove himself, but Mike just took all the air out of it. Made fighting seem stupid. Made walking away seem strong. Finally, Curtis nods. Just once. You're smarter than I thought. Prison gave me time to think about who I was, who I want to be, who I'm choosing to be. Out there, I was Mike Tyson the fighter. In here, I'm trying to be Mike the person. The person Cus always told me I could be if I learned to control the rage instead of letting it control me. Curtis looks at the book in Mike's hand. That philosophy stuff actually helps? It helps me remember that I have a choice, always have a choice, about how I react, about who I am, about what I do with the power I have. Curtis is quiet for a moment. Then, how much time you said you got left? 22 months. What are you going to do when you get out? Mike thinks about that. I'm going to fight again. Try to get my title back. But different this time. Not as the destroyer. As someone who understands that fighting is just one part of who I am. Not all of it. Curtis nods again. Then he does something unexpected. Extends his hand. Respect. Mike looks at the hand, then takes it. They shake. Firm. Brief. An understanding passing between them. Curtis walks away. His crew follows. The tension drains from the room. Officer Daniels sits back down, satisfied that violence was avoided. The other inmates go back to their books, their conversations, already crafting the story they'll tell later, about how Mike Tyson talked down an aggressor, about how the baddest man on the planet chose words over fists, about how strength sometimes looks like restraint. Mike sits back down, opens his notebook, writes, "Today I learned, real power is choosing not to use the power everyone knows you have. Cuss was right. The mind is the weapon. The body just follows orders." 3 months later, Curtis requests to be in the prison's education program, signs up for GED classes, tells the counselor that a conversation in the library made him think differently about his time, about what he's building versus what he's destroying. 2 years later, Mike Tyson is released from prison, weighs 220 pounds, has read hundreds of books, has thought more deeply about himself than he ever did outside. In interviews, reporters ask if prison changed him. He tells them about Marcus Aurelius, about choosing who you become, about power over your mind. He doesn't tell them about Curtis, about that Tuesday in the library, about the fight that never happened, because some lessons aren't for public consumption. Some moments are just for the people who were there, who understand what it means to walk away, to choose control over chaos, to be powerful enough to be gentle. Curtis serves his full sentence, gets out in 2001, stays clean, starts a construction business. When people ask about his time inside, he sometimes tells them about meeting Mike Tyson, about how the baddest man on the planet taught him that being feared is temporary, but being respected lasts forever, about how the strongest choice he ever saw someone make was choosing not to fight when everyone expected violence. Years later, on Mike's podcast, someone asks about his prison experience, what he learned, what changed him. Mike thinks for a moment, then says, "I learned that I spent my whole life trying to make people afraid of me. Cuss taught me to be a weapon, and I was. A very effective weapon. But weapons don't have choices. People do. In prison, I had to decide, am I a weapon or am I a person who knows how to fight? Those are different things. Took me a while to understand that." "What's the difference?" the interviewer asks. "A weapon only knows how to destroy. A person knows when to fight and when to walk away, when to use violence and when to use wisdom. Cuss tried to teach me that, but I was too young, too angry, too convinced that power meant making people afraid. Prison gave me time to grow up, to realize that the scariest thing about me isn't my punching power, it's my ability to control that power, to choose when to use it, to be disciplined enough not to use it when some part of me wants to. Who in your life is testing you right now? Pushing your buttons? Trying to provoke a reaction? And what would happen if you chose not to give them what they want? Not because you're weak, because you're strong enough to recognize that their test is their problem, not yours. That real power is having options and choosing the wisest one, not the most immediately satisfying one. Mike Tyson could have destroyed Curtis that day. Everyone knew it. Curtis knew it. The guards knew it. That was never in question. But he chose something harder, something that required more strength. He chose restraint, chose thinking past the moment, chose becoming someone better than who he was. That's power. Not the punching kind, the lasting kind.